You look at Danny's situation this year, he's got 3 and 4 guys surrounding him all the time, and as a college player, you get sick of that. Every team trying to surround people around you, and you can't really play. You can't really grow as a player. So it may be a great move for Danny to go ahead and forego his final year.
And again, it's still all premature discussion, but many believe that Fortson is indeed going to make that decision. So here we go to tip it off, and Kenyon Martin in his first collegiate start tips the ball back to Charles Williams, and UC with the basketball.
That was not a surprise that he'd win that tip.
No, he'll win a lot. Fortson immediately double teamed as he caught the ball for the first time. Patterson along the baseline pulls up. Yes, sir. Rubin coming off a good game against South Carolina. 19 points, 8 rebounds.
Bearcats back in the old press.
And Bird stepped out of bounds. Bird normally not in the starting lineup, the senior out of Houston, Texas. But he is in there tonight.
Interesting lineup change just before tip-off.
Two teams have not gotten together 22 years. Now in the same conference as Houston has come over to Conference USA. Patterson throws it away, and an eye on Williams wide open.
Looked like Williams still had a shot at getting that basketball. He just didn't jump. Let it sail right over his head.
McBride, mentioned a Cincinnati native, handling the basketball, and they beat the pressure with a long pass. McBride can shoot from out there, but way off the mark, target, and Flint with a rebound. Was that tipped? No. Second straight turnover by Patterson. He said the ball was touched.
Looked like that ball was deflected. It's a tough angle.
Lob underneath, and finishing is Galen Robinson.
17 points per game. He can finish. He's proven that. This Houston team has 2 guys in the top 10 in scoring in the Conference USA. So look for him, and also I believe it's
Damon Jones.
Yeah, he's a very good outside shooter. These 2 guys, they'll score.
Flint. Yes, and Damon Flint. Maybe the monkey off his back. He had missed his last 10 3-point attempts.
Damon looked a lot more comfortable on that shot. Settled down and just stroked it nicely.
Damon did not score, as many of you know, in the South Carolina game. Robinson trying to muscle his way up, had it stripped away.
Big fella got to go up immediately when he's in that position.
Martin, the jump hook, had it knocked away by Knox. And Houston with the ball trailing 5-2. Damon Jones dishes to Robinson. Too long, and Williams a rebound. Cincinnati 3-on-3 break, and there's Martin, and he couldn't get it to fall, but he'll head for the free throw line.
Martin was just too long on that possession down the court. That would normally be a charge, but such a long, lanky guy able to avoid that one. Of course, the Houston player bailed out at the last minute. Damon Jones.
Melvin Levett, sophomore out of Cleveland, Ohio, checks into the game for the first time, replacing another Clevelander, Reuben Patterson. Martin, a young player, struggled at the free throw line and misses his first attempt. You know, I like to just make one comment and then put it to bed, but I think there are a lot of Cincinnati basketball fans that ought to be ashamed at the way they treated a local Cincinnati kid in Damon Flint during the South Carolina game the other day. I think it's kind of one thing to boo a pro athlete. It's another thing to boo a college athlete. There's Fortson. He hits his first bucket.
Fortson tough on the offensive boards, and knowing the big fella gets it down there, it's almost money.
Turnover by Houston.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I think the Cincinnati fans were very harsh on Damon Flint, especially all that he's accomplished in his 4 years here, for him to have one bad game and everybody, you know, get down on him, I think that's the wrong approach, especially when Cincinnati's trying to make a run for the Final Four.
And I mean, Flint certainly has not had the kind of senior season he would have liked, as he tries a three and nails it home. And now everybody, of course, is his best friend in the world. He's hit 2 of those tonight. But it's not like the kid's not out here doing everything he can and the best he can. Other end of the floor, Jones, and lays it in. He beats Flint the other way.
Well, Houston, they caught the Bearcats all fronting, trying to front the pass in, and a simple backdoor cut, and long pass was there.
Bearcats in front, 10-4. Levett looked to throw over the top momentarily, elected not to do so. Fortson, great dish to Levett, and he'll go to the line.
Great look by Danny Fortson to the baseline, backside. When you got 3 guys guarding you, someone's open. Melvin Levett cutting along the baseline. You see Danny face up. Make the backdoor pass, and Melvin Levett strong to the glass.
Levett, a little gift there at the end. Maybe blocked, but it went down for him after he was fouled by McBride. And Levett, a good free throw shooter at 84%. Converts the three-point play, and the Bearcats lead by 9.
See Danny protecting the basket there, preventing the run out.
Bird just does get it across to Jones, who throws up top for Robinson, and he's fouled.
Great look upstairs. Robinson couldn't quite get the handle to convert, but that was a great look by Damon Jones. Caught Danny just a little too late.
Darnell Burton a moment ago checks in for the first time, replacing Damon Flint. Robinson at the line and hits a free throw. Robinson, a junior out of Houston, 6'8", 265 pounds. Ranks 3rd in Conference USA in rebounding, in the top 10 in scoring, and 2nd in field goal percentage to Danny Fortson. He's had a heck of a year. (13-6) UC, and a turnover.
An interesting note on Damon Jones with Houston. He'll become the 15th player in University of Houston history to have 300 assists once he gets 10 more assists. Great accomplishment.
Oh yeah. Lob it into Robinson. Martin blocked the first try. Head fake, stuck with it, puts it in.
Robinson's getting lots of touches down there under the basket, and he's converting, making the Bearcats pay.
Well, Anthony talked about that at the beginning of the game. But Robinson's a load. Burton bounce pass to Fortson. He'll finish.
That was a great look opposite to Darnell Burton to get a 2-on-1 for an easy layup.
Second time that Bird has stepped out of bounds. Each team with 3 turnovers, but the Bearcats on Burton to Fortson have opened a 7-point first half lead. Like to remind you, this season Provident Bank and the Arthritis Foundation have teamed up with the Bearcats to help children with arthritis through the Gift of Hope Challenge. Every time a Bearcat player makes a free throw, Provident Bank will donate $50 to the Gift of Hope, which provides programs and services to benefit children with arthritis throughout southwestern Ohio and northern Kentucky. Wonderful program that is. Bearcats trying to get their program in order. Home stretch of the regular season, moving on to Conference USA's tournament. This year played in St. Louis, and then the NCAA tournament. Up top, and it went in the basket. And I think Burton's going to have to get credit for the bucket.
Yeah, it should be a three-point. Should be a three-pointer.
Boy, they only give him a 2, but I don't think anybody touched that. And I assume they gave it to Levett.
Actually, I believe a Houston player touched that basketball and deflected it into the basket.
Levett does get the bucket. Jones from downtown to three.
Damon Jones, big time 3-point shooter for Houston. He's got the complete package.
Lead down to 6, 17-11 Cincinnati. Levett off the bench already with 5. And push from behind was Fortson by the big fella Anthony Knox. And he is big, 6'8", 275.
Well, Bearcat fans are going to have to look for a slow offensive game when we set up, because the Bearcats are going to see zone for the most part. Coach Alvin Brooks said he didn't think there was anybody on his club that could guard Danny Fortson man-to-man, so we'll see a lot of zone.
Damon Flint back into the ball game for Cincinnati. Burton thought about it. Dishes off. Flint, will it be his third? Off the mark. Fortson! Oh, it almost went down. He was fouled on the way up.
That was great recognition by Danny Fortson. Instead of rebounding that and bringing it down, he just tried to tip it in over his head with 2 hands and draw the foul, almost picking up a 3-point play here. That's great recognition. Most players would bring that down. Danny, with a last-minute thought, said, let me just tip this in.
Fortson now with 5 in the game as you look at Alvin Brooks. He doesn't like that call.
Yeah, he didn't. He also has 2 rebounds and 2 assists.
Cincinnati 19, Houston 11. Knox almost jumped a little too early for that pass. McBride thought about it, goes to the hole, and what a move by Shaman McBride.
Pretty move, just scooped it right up under Kenyon Martin's armpit.
Oh yeah, there's Burton for a 3. Bangs it in. What else is new?
Picking up right where he left off.
Well, Darnell Burton, he has been a terrific player here at Cincinnati all 4 of his seasons since coming out of Lexington, Kentucky. And maybe the best is still yet to come.
I look for Darnell Burton to explode in the tournament. Conference tournament, the remainder of this season, and also the NCAA tournament.
Fortson, wrong jumper. Little long and saved by Jones. 22-13 Bearcats. Houston the other way. Jones from NBA 3, not even close.
Quick shot by Jones.
Fortson.
I'm not surprised that Coach Alvin Brooks would get a timeout there. He sees his team not really running the floor, and then coming down, taking a quick shot by Damon Jones, and then he doesn't recognize it, gets back, and you see Danny Fortson run the floor, and they get an easy layup. That's a no-no.
Well, Darnell Burton, the beat goes on.
Oh yeah, Darnell Burton, he's just worked really hard on his jump shot, and it's really paying off right now. And now's the time for him to really knock him down, because everyone is going to play the Bearcats lay off their guards and stay inside and protect against Danny Fortson. And you got Darnell Burton knocking down jump shots out there that can loosen up the interior for Danny.
And Burton with a takeaway. Pitches out to Levett. Pulls up for the jumper. Pretty move by Melvin Levett.
Nice stop and pop by Melvin Levett, able to penetrate, pull up with a short 10-foot jump shot.
Cincinnati's largest lead of the game is at 13. Well, Bird gave it up to Jones, who missed a layup, but was pushed.
It's a great look by Bird to get the basketball in the middle. That's the zone's weakest point. And as you can see, in your living room comes Damon Jones.
Roderick Monroe, who just checked in during the 22nd timeout, immediately whistled for the foul. Cincinnati's second of the half. Why is it, or at least why does it seem, Anthony, that Bob Huggins coach teams tend to play better come tournament time?
Well, normally his teams are really learning his offense and learning his system earlier in the season. And as it goes on, players start to pick up their system, understand their roles, and usually that's why his teams gel later in the season and begin to play better.
Do you think this team has that same kind of run still to come?
Of course. I think that the new players especially.
Whoa! Levett up top.
That play was made by Monroe. He set the great back screen for the easy layup.
I tell you, Levett's all over the floor. He's got 9 in the game.
You see Monroe sets a great, you can't really see it on the screen, but Monroe made that whole play happen, setting the back pick, allowing Levett. As you can see, Monroe holding off the man. Levett comes through with the sky and dunk.
Robinson missed it. And Patterson able to run it down. Flynn to Fortson underneath, uses the body, can't get it. Patterson the rebound. No. Fortson. No. And he's hacked.
I'm going to take a page from Clark Kellogg. That was buffet-style basketball. All the seconds you can eat, baby. We had 3 rebounds here. David Flint with the lob. Danny misses a short shot. Ruben Patterson snatches down one. He misses, and here comes Danny. And he goes up. Rebound again. Oh, he's fouled. How many seconds do you need before you get full?
Well, that's a big guy. Danny, a rare miss at the line. Buffet-style basketball.
Yeah, I thought that was clever.
Yes, very. Well, Clark's got to be pretty clever. I mean, he's a Buckeye for crying out loud. I mean, a native of the Buckeye State. He just picked the wrong college in Ohio, that's all.
Bearcats playing their 2-2-1 press. Want to protect the middle.
Patterson just a step late, and he found Robinson. So for Ruben Patterson, that'll be his first, and for the Bearcats, the team's third. We have a break in the action, 11:51 to play from the shoe. Bearcats in front of Houston, 29-15. Danny Fortson continues to climb the Cincinnati career leaders in scoring, and certainly now less than 100 away from moving into second, and he will easily surpass Roger McClendon. No one will ever, I dare say ever, catch Oscar Robertson.
No,
possible,
not in this
I suppose, but doubtful.
Not in this day, unless you come down and you get 30 shots a game and you shoot about 60% from the field for 3 years, 4 years.
4 years, yeah. Oscar did that in 3. Bearcats on a 10-2 run. Houston with the ball. Knox tried to body Fortson, who said, "Get it out of here."
Danny played that perfectly, just backed up off the drop step and
Patterson came over the back. His second foul and the team's 5th. You know, I got away from a minute ago. We'll take a look at his first. As Patterson's whistle for the foul. But I wanted to ask you, do you think this Cincinnati team has a similar run in the tournament? I started to ask you a moment ago, then we had the dunk by Levett.
Yeah, I think they do, because the Bearcat coaching staff continuously drills these guys on fundamentals and also picking up the offense and practices of the system, and they'll only get better.
And here's Patton, UC defense, although Houston a real nice job in getting it away, and then Jones buries the open shot.
Well, when he gets a good open look at it, he'll drain him. He'll knock him down. You have to force him to take tough shots. Get back to your point. The Bearcats are tough to play on a 1 or 2 day notice, and that's what makes them really tough in the tournament.
Monroe got away with a charge, perhaps, and scores.
Man, you can't charge Knox. He's 275.
That's like invading Fort Knox. Jones at the other end, and it's stripped out of bounds, and it's Cincinnati basketball. was stripped away, and then it hit Jones and went out of bounds. Melvin Brooks says, what?
I don't think he can really protest. He didn't have the angle. I think one of the Bearcats got a hand in there, stripped it off, and it went off of Damon Jones. Look for the Bearcats to swing the basketball. There we go.
And Burton, he's missed the last two. Levett runs it down. And a fresh 35 for Cincinnati. Flint to Levett. Burton the rebound. And he'll kiss it in.
Well, Darnell, if you can't drain him down from long distance, step inside and get you a layup. And he's been great at doing that in the last 3 games, going inside out.
Cincinnati just killing Houston on front. 13-5. They've out-rebounded the Cougars.
Well, that's the Bearcats' forte. Eat the glass. Bearcats. Wow.
But they got Monroe underneath. And that Vermont will be number 2 in just a couple of minutes. And Kenyon Martin will come right back into the game.
Surprised at this foul. That's just a regular little swim move. See football players do that all the time.
Yeah, they're wearing pads and helmets.
Yeah, but that's just arms.
Yeah, get in the way of a Reggie White swim move sometime. Be laying on the other side of the floor. 9:30 left in the opening half. Cincinnati leading by 15. 33-18 up top. And easily putting it in his Capers, but he came down wrong on his ankle and appears to be hurt.
Willie
Capers.
Yeah, Willie Bird with the good look inside.
Martin couldn't get it, and a foul underneath will go against Capers.
Galen Robinson sets the back pick to free up. Yeah, we'll see Galen Robinson setting the back pick, and that frees up Kenyon Capers.
Bearcats with a 13-point lead with the basketball. DeJuan Baker into the game. Feeds into Martin. Pitches outside again to Baker. Nice release, just a little too long.
Bearcats have been long on their last three-point shots.
David Jones looking back at Alvin Brooks. Want to run a set play here in this situation. Try to get an isolation for Capers on Baker, who feeds Robinson, and he goes right in the face of Martin and scores.
That's what you want to do when you got a shot blocker. You want to go right at his chin, and that was a great example of going right at the shot blocker by Galen Robinson, able to go right up and stick it in.
Melvin Levett along the baseline. Levett with 11, his career high is 17. That came a year ago against DePaul.
Melvin Levett attacking that baseline and able to get to about 10 feet and just elevate over the defenders for the jump shot.
Partially blocked by Martin. Levett was knocked out of bounds, and that'll be a foul against Houston. Boy, Levett is all over the floor tonight.
Yeah, he's started off great and is continuing great play right off the bench. Melvin Levett attacks the baseline with 2 or 3 dribbles and just elevates over Anthony Knox to knock down the jump shot.
David Jones will sit down as Bird checks back into the game for Houston, and Melvin Levett is headed for the free throw line, where he's hit his only attempt tonight.
You know, in that last jump shot by Damon Jones, that has to be disconcerting to see that you have an open 3-point shot and then see a long 6'8" jumping jack come out there and block your shot.
I think Chris Webber did that to you one time, didn't he?
No, not me.
Melvin Levett. It's a bird.
Oh.
Oh boy. How'd you like to run into him a little bit later on tonight?
Oh, I don't think so.
He's a freshman, Adrian Taylor, 7'3", 345 pounds, and they say he's lost 60 pounds to get to 345.
They sure must have an awfully strong training table at the University of Houston, because he hasn't missed any meals.
Well, they say everything's big in Texas. Adrian Taylor is big. Just barely beating the 10-second. And then a turnover as Bird traveled, trapped by Baker and Levett.
Bad place to pick the basketball up.
37-22. Bob Huggins' team in front. 7:54 to go in the opening half. Well, again next season, the Bearcats plan on intimidating, dominating, and celebrating. You can be part of every Bearcat home game by purchasing season tickets. Starting in March, a limited number of 97-98 basketball season tickets will be released for public sale. If you want to be part of the action, call 556-4884. I am a season ticket holder. I can assure you it is a terrific decision to make.
You're a season ticket holder?
Yes, I am. Number of years now, I might add, Mr. Buford. If you can't play, you got to pay to get in and watch.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Well, you should have. You got in free enough. Love it. Dishes off to Dewan Baker. Penetrates. Got knocked to the floor. Levett way out. Not there.
Yeah, Adrian Taylor, he's not going to move. And I think Dewan Baker just found out.
Kenyon Martin with a rebound. Taylor getting down the floor. Danny Fortson looks like a midget standing next to Taylor. And there's the takeaway.
Yeah, Melvin Levett just redirected his route.
We'll get a chance in a minute. We'll show you Adrian Taylor. It's hard to miss.
He just pushed Danny Fortson off the block like he was a puppy down.
Martin.
Throw it at him, little big fella. Throw it at him. Can you try to throw the ball at him through the basket?
And a 20-second timeout taken by Houston. Kenyon Martin getting his first basket.
Great look by Charles Williams. Looks off the defense, and Kenyon Martin say, here, take that, Capers.
Well, now they tell us it's a full timeout. 39-22 UC. Bearcats in front 39-22. 6:48 to play here in the opening half. Alongside former UC great Anthony Buford. I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome back to the Shoe. Cincinnati still pressing into the backcourt, and Houston able to get it across the timeline. Oh, and then a turnover. Capers walked.
Capers, he gave the signal that he got pushed in the back, but he was just going a little too fast. Drag that pivot foot.
8 turnovers now for Houston. Bob Huggins' club has turned it over 4 times. UC took very good care of the basketball despite the loss to South Carolina. They only had 9 turnovers in the entire game. Problem was South Carolina even better at handling the basketball with just 6 turnovers.
Well, I was surprised UC didn't press them as more than they did, and the officials called it really tight, so it kind of makes it difficult to really press. But
well, Taylor and Fortson getting locked up underneath. That's like a car hitting a refrigerator.
Well, wow, he just pushed Danny like Danny wasn't even in the paint.
Taylor. Big man.
Yeah, he put that bumper right across Danny's back.
A freshman is Taylor. And Fortson missed the free throw. Bounce pass. Burton leveled by Taylor. Boy, now that bordered on maybe a little excess.
Big fella said, no layups. No layups. Shoot the jump shot, Darnell. We need you the rest of the season.
You got that right. 16 rebounds for the Bearcats, 7 offensively.
Bearcats just dominating backboards right now.
And Burton able to hit the second.
Danny's not going to back down from anything. He's still banging and pushing in there with Adrian Taylor.
I'd give that second thoughts. McBride finds the open Jones. Boy, he is quick. And then missed the reverse layup. Robinson underneath had it, lost it, and Burton comes away with the ball. Williams, 2-on-4 will slow it down.
Bearcats scrapping down low to steal that one.
And DeLon Baker hits the three. Boy, Bearcats are on fire tonight.
Well, the Bearcat guards were heavily criticized after the last game for not being able to stay with the South Carolina trio, and they're coming out here firing tonight.
Robinson, good dribble penetration, and then Martin swats it away. Oh, goodness.
Martin comes from out of nowhere. He says, get it out of here. Martin coming sliding all the way from the wing, and he, get that out of here. Jalen Robinson thought he had an easy one. Laid it up softly. Oh, you got to finish him strong down there with the dunk. Or the freshman will come and get you.
And you hope that Kenyon Martin's all right. He made the block and then had to go sprinting right to the UC locker room.
I think he's had some problems with his calves and cramps.
Fortson got away with a charge, just lowered his shoulder, knocked Bird to the deck.
Danny had knocked a few people to the deck just by lowering his shoulder.
Bearcats shooting 61% in the game. They came in as a team right at 50, good enough for 4th best in the NCAA. And that was as of the new statistical release, which came out at 5 o'clock this afternoon, and our main man, Mark Wagner, was all over. Our statistician courtside.
I don't give away all our secrets now.
Oh, you got to. Got to give our man, and he can throw me that money Mark's fired over. Thank you, Mark. He's the busiest guy in town. Will they count the basket? Let's see. May have been contact before the bucket. And it's not going to be counted.
And they get Charles Williams on the gentle shove. And Charles is such a strong young man that all the Bearcats are such strong guys that just a little shove seems like they're pushing you out of the building.
Saw Kenyon Martin there check back in, or at least come back onto the UC bench. So apparently he's fine. McBride's going to replace Taylor.
Big fella came in and did the job down low. Said no layups. He's enforcing the no layup rule.
McBride, mentioned earlier out of Aiken High School. Well, he's got to be proud of his alma mater. The #1 team right here in the area. At least many believe they're #1. Some would say Withrow, but at least according to the polls, Aiken the best high school team in the city. Williams, what a feed, and Danny didn't see it coming. And Danny says, my fault. That was a good pass. Yeah,
that was a great look by Charles Williams to draw the defense with him and whip the pass back across the lane to Danny Fortson cutting for an easy layup, but slipped out of his hands.
Bearcats in front by 22. 4:20 left to play here in the opening half.
Well, McBride wants to have a good showing here in his hometown.
Knox. Whistle for the offensive charge.
I see Terry Nelson clapping over there on the bench real hard. That was a Terry Nelson flop right there.
And Terry did that just about as well as anybody. And Knox is going to have to sit down with 3 personal fouls.
Yeah, I bet you if I can get Danny's attention right here in front of us, he'd probably say he learned that one from Terry. There's T-Nail. Serious look on his face now.
I still remember like it was yesterday. I know you do too, when he guaranteed the route of Xavier. And then Cincinnati went out and did it. But you talk about a gutsy move in this town. Flynn thought about it, steps behind the line, in and out. Fortson getting the rebound in traffic and had it taken away by Robinson. Robinson, the baseball pass to Capers. Bird, good head fake and kisses it in. Willie Bird, a senior out of Houston, the only 4-year senior on this Cougar roster. Bearcats have gone cold from 3-point land.
And the Bearcats aren't looking inside to Danny Fortson. Best thing to do is to go inside and then let Danny come back outside with the pass, so you can get a chance to get a good look at the basket.
McBride beats Williams and is fouled.
McBride with extreme quickness able to slide around Williams and force the foul by Williams.
Charles Williams with his 3rd foul will sit down in favor of DeJuan Baker.
I think Darnell Burton's not real used to being that wide open, and he's missed 3 that he normally makes.
McBride hitting the free throws, 3 of 3 from the line. Has 5 points in the game. He averages a little better than 8 points, leading assist man, best 3-point shooter on this Cougar team. Had 21 when they defeated the Memphis Tigers a couple of weeks ago. Bearcats, of course, still have an encounter with the Tigers, and that'll be at the Pyramid as Baker turns it over, trying the entry pass to Monroe.
Now, some people might want to give DeJuan Baker that turnover, but really, I would probably blame
Monroe for that?
Monroe, yeah, because he didn't hold off the defensive man. He let the defensive man slide around him on the baseline. He was too busy backing up into the paint. His man slides around him and picks that pass off instead of holding the guy off and then retrieving the basketball, stepping to the basketball.
It's interesting you say that, because Roderick Monroe is on the bench and DeJuan Baker is still in the game.
Exactly.
So you know what you're talking about.
I know a little bit about post play.
Well, I'm not sure about that, as that one's taken away inside.
Yeah,
You regarded like to go down low a little bit.
Yeah, I played the physical game.
Yeah.
I couldn't really. I didn't have the quickness and finesse like Nick Van Exel.
Laid in by Capers into the lane, and that makes it 46-29.
Houston gets some good looks at the baskets, able to convert.
Monroe's going to come right back in. Bearcats have opened a big lead and just gotten sloppy the last couple of minutes. Fortson calling for it. Quadruple team.
You got to go inside to him and have him and let him feed it back out for outside shots.
Flynn, good head fake. Goes to the hole in traffic. Couldn't get it. And then thrown down by Martin.
Wow. I tell you one thing. Martin's around that basket and it comes off. Better believe he's sending it down with authority. Houston trying to run a shuffle cut off the post.
Martin almost to take away.
And Houston trying to run a nice little shuffle cut play off the high post for a give and go situation.
And drawing the foul underneath is Otis Grant.
A lot of pushing and shoving going on down there. And looked like Martin got shoved right into the player.
Well, our 4-game summary, you see red hot, Houston ice cold. Bearcats have dominated on the glass, and Melvin Levett already closing in on a career high. You may remember the DePaul game a season ago. He had 17 and already 13 here tonight.
Melvin Levett supplying great play off the bench for the Bearcats.
My man Otis Grant. This is both free throws.
He's not too adept at that free throw line.
Baker calling for a timeout and is granted a timeout. And then McBride gave him a little shove.
Baker got caught in the trap. Right, he still had his dribble, but in that particular situation, the only place he could go was backwards.
Well, the Bearcats do have some guys with some roots, at least going back to Texas. Roderick Monroe, a native of Hearne, Texas, played at McLennan Community College. DeJuan Baker out of Fort Worth, Texas, played at Midland, Texas Community College, and then Kenyon Martin out of Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, Dallas has been good to the, Texas has been good to the Bearcats.
Yes.
You know, the last great Texas player that was here besides Nick Van Exel was 7-footer.
Mike Reichenach. There you see the Conference USA standings. With the Bearcats, the old cliche about they control their destiny, can just walk away with another conference championship. And Baker, nice head fake and got the jumper.
Damon Flint was a little upset with Burton. He missed him on the live pass. Damon wanted that dunk really bad, but instead they get the nice jump shot by DeJuan Baker.
Houston with less than 12 seconds remaining in a half. Bearcats trying to pressure the ball. Bird pitches to Jones, who's going to have to put it up. Lost the ball, and Flint will have to beat the clock. 3, 2, he'll throw it home.
Wind it up, David. Wind it up.
Damon Flint, 8 points in the opening half. And he throws a punctuation mark.
And Damon winding it up for everybody in the shoe. And
that punctuation in a hurry. Exclamation mark. 52-29. Cincinnati leading at halftime over Houston. Jackson, Jolson both with injured ankles. Bobby said it felt good, but I'm sure with this kind of lead, Bob Huggins is saying, well, if we can get both of them an entire game off, let's go that route.
Plus, this also gives Kenyon Martin an opportunity to get a substantial amount of playing time and get his conditioning together.
Quick turnover by Houston on the Fortson takeaway. Flint will go to the basket. Strong!
Damon Flint opens the first half, opens the second half, where he finished the first half with the dunk.
Flint now with 10 in the game.
It's nice to see Damon come back and have a strong showing after the treatment he received after the South Carolina game.
And Flint came right out as Jones hit it at the other end, and Flint said, hey, I know I played a terrible game. I just can't let the fans bother me and just go out and play a better game the next time. And so far tonight he's done that. Bearcats will need a lot more of that though from Flint, particularly as the tournament draws near. Spin move, couldn't get it. And a rebound ripped away by Bird as Martin went flying by the ball.
Wow, he really goes after it.
That'll be a block. And it should have been a good call.
Yeah, he should have stepped up to meet the player to take that charge instead of standing under the basket. When you stand almost under the basket, that's almost a guaranteed foul on the defensive player.
Melvin Levett will check in, and right out of the game goes Ruben Patterson.
Melvin Levett was very productive off the bench. We'll see if he picks up where he left off the first half.
Bird hitting the free throw. And Levett, high wire act, kisses it in. He's fouled. He'll go to the line. Oh, goodness, what a night for Levett.
Defensive breakdown by Houston, not paying attention to where the basketball is. This time of the season, I find that unbelievable that you do not know where the basketball is on the court. And they give Melvin Levett a straight lane to the basket. Wow, one more step and he's in your living room or inside the rim.
Anthony Knox will go to the bench, his 4th foul, and well, a mini mountain. Adrian Taylor back in there.
All of a sudden the paint has become clogged up.
I just don't know if television can truly do justice as Levett converts on a 3-point play for how big Taylor is.
Well, he's big, but he sure isn't quick, because Kenyon Martin just ran by him like he wasn't standing there.
McBride misses, but gets his own rebound. Throws it up. Martin says nope, and then saved it. And the Bearcats control. Oh, Fortson hits the deck.
Oh, Danny's all right.
Levett. Martin tips it in. Wow.
Martin's all over the place. He's too quick. He's too quick for Taylor. Taylor can't block him out. Martin's just running around him like he's just standing there like a pole.
And Taylor going to the floor, unable to handle the pass, and talking a little bit to Martin, who was just trying to
No, Martin wasn't
get out of his way.
Yeah, I know he wasn't trying to hold him up. That's a real quick way to pull muscles in your back.
Boy, Martin is so athletic, isn't he? Oh, to think what he'll be like even a year from now.
Yeah, standing next to Taylor, though, he looks like he's about 6'5".
Look at the big fella.
Oh, he's showing us the turnaround. He said, I can shoot, I can move. What are you talking about?
59-36. And a push in the back. Will go against McBride.
I think the referees aren't giving Taylor any due out there. One little shove in the back, and it's a foul. And every player on the post pushes with one arm in the back. It just seems like he's pushing with both because the guys that move so far off the block.
Kenyon Martin coming out of the game. Danny Fortson may have been shaken up momentarily a few minutes ago, but he's right back in there. Appears to be all right. He and Taylor sharing a laugh. They're bumping each other and both smiled.
Well, you didn't see before that they shared forearms.
Danny says, come on out here.
Danny said, I'll bring the big fella out. I think Danny's setting him up because he wants to go around and see if he can get in there and dunk like the smaller, quicker guys.
Taylor throws it away. He is a moose. 7'3", you were with us earlier. 7'3", 345 pounds. Levett picks it up, and that's a new career high for Melvin Levett.
Levett's been like a pinball all year. Every time he scores and gets fouled or something, he goes flying out of bounds 5 or 6 feet or something. Here we go. Is he really pushed? There he goes. Out of your screen.
18 now for Levett, a career high.
Melvin having a lot of fun tonight, just playing the game.
Well, you know, we talk so much about Martin. Let's not forget Melvin Levett is only a sophomore who played very little last year, very little early this year, and now his minutes beginning to increase. He might turn out to be the player everybody thought he would be.
Well, if he continues to work and listen to the coaches, he will become the player that everybody believes he can.
Williams all the way to the glass. Melvin, Levett, Johnny on the spot, can't get it. Fortson does, can't finish. And here come the Cougars.
Too many easy shots for the Bearcats.
McBride, yes sir, offensive foul. Will they count the bucket? No, they won't.
A little bit out of control was McBride, and Monroe there to make him pay.
22nd timeout taken by Houston. Things beginning to get a little out of hand for the Cougars. Bob Huggins' team in front by 28, 64-36.
Well, this is no surprise, I don't think, to any of the viewers here. Bearcats usually, after a loss, they usually come back with a very strong, impressive outing, and as you see tonight, up by 28 points. That lead probably will increase.
Let's watch Taylor and Danny Fortson. There you go.
We're catching the latter part of what really happened. Danny turned around and gave him one right in the chest, and big fella didn't move, and I think he was telling Danny about that.
And they're at it again. Danny having a big smile, and Taylor there behind him. That's the way your shadow looks when the sun's setting. You're standing there and it looks 3 times the size behind you.
Well, Danny's not a little guy himself, but in that shot, he sure looks like a little fella, like a guard.
Yeah. Lob it into Monroe, and he's hacked on the way up. If that's McBride, that's number 4. Yep. So the Cincinnati native draws his 4th. No, check that, his 3rd. I apologize. 3rd personal foul. Melvin Levett will take a seat. Ruben Patterson checks back in, and Levett a big round of applause from the UC faithful. Darnell Burton also checking into the game.
And talking about Danny Fortson, when he steps outside and starts knocking down those jump shots, I got to believe the scouts, the professional scouts, are starting to drool, because he's got the inside package and proving to those guys that he can shoot the 18, 19-foot jump shot only makes him much more valuable.
Terrence Davis will come in the first time. Davis, a senior out of New Orleans. Monroe hits 1 of 2, and the Bearcat lead is 29.
Bearcats all over Houston tonight, forcing them to play fast.
McBride right to the bucket and lays it in over Monroe.
McBride, he's showing them the little head fake on the jump shot, and he's just going by, laying it up.
Fortson, too long. Patterson throws it away. Ruben, a number of turnovers in not many minutes tonight. Capers, little lean-in shot goes down.
Houston's made the Bearcats pay the last 2 trips down the floor. Getting 2 very close shots. Bearcats getting a little lackadaisical defensively.
Davis, a little isolation play on McBride, won't go in. The tip missed by Patterson.
Well, Patterson really looks like he's just not in any kind of rhythm.
Ruben coming off a very solid game against South Carolina. Really, it was Patterson, Burton, Fortson, and that's about it in that game. Look at McBride. All kinds of traffic.
McBride, same move that we saw 2 tricks earlier. He fakes the jump shot. He hasn't shot one outside yet. The Bearcats, they go for the fake, and he's just penetrating in, getting easy layups.
65-42. Darnell Burton, a little fadeaway, got knocked to the floor. And Taylor had it stripped out of his hands. It'll belong to Houston. So the Bearcats a little sloppy here the last couple of minutes. They lead 65-42, 14-10 left to go. 65-42. Been a little bit of the Melvin Levett show tonight, and certainly you mentioned he's just been playing hard all year.
Yeah, he's Mr. Indestructible. He'll go after anything, after that basketball, no matter where it is. You can see he takes a nice spill here and scared the Bearcat faithful.
Yeah, that's when his face went into the railing.
And then right here, he hits his head on the scorer's table, hustling to save that basketball. And just a tough young man.
And here's tonight, where he set a new career high with 19 points.
There he goes.
Kenyon Martin whistled for the foul as we're back to live action, and Melvin right there, you see the divine intervention. He needs it the way that body's been knocked around, and talked about the career high 19. Levett leading the way. There's a takeaway by Darnell Burton. Pulls up and gets the gentle roll.
Darnell able to fend off the contact and lay it softly up off the rim.
9 points for Darnell Burton, senior out of Lexington, Kentucky. Boy, it's going to be sad to not have him around here next year. Just seemed like him and Flynn have been here in such an integral part of the team for so long.
Yeah, it seems like they've been here for years. Darnell just stealing the basketball from him. I think that may give him what? He may have a career steals lead right now.
We'll certainly double check the stats here. Burton with a couple of steals last time down the floor. Good head fake, and then Martin came over the top, and they're going to call him for a foul.
Martin is going for the jump ball. He tried to rebound. Galen Robinson's shot attempt.
Right.
Just an athletic, just unbelievable energy and athleticism from Kenyon Martin. And we'll get to see that 3 more years.
Students giving Bird a hard time, calling him Rodman over there, that hair color. You ought to look into going with that look.
I don't think so, Tom.
Of course, when you played, you had that kind of fade going a little bit.
I had the box.
Yeah, the box. That's right.
The box going.
That's what you had. The box.
And that was the box.
Yeah, a little long on top, nothing on the sides, right?
That's no longer in style, so you know I don't wear that anymore.
Robinson, the basket will count, and a foul against Davis. Boy, the Bearcats have gotten very sloppy with the basketball here in the last couple of minutes.
As we went to that last timeout, you see a nice crossover and individual move by Galen Robinson. We went to that last timeout, heard some boos again from some of the fans, and you know, the expectations from some of the UC faithful has grown outrageous, in my opinion. I mean, you've got a club here that's 19-5. We'll get a high seed in the NCAA tournament. Still a very good basketball team, and it's unbelievable the expectation level that these guys are under. Granted, they were #1 at the beginning of the year, but tough crowd.
You bring up an interesting point as the Bearcats nearly turn it over again. You bring up an interesting point because how soon we forget as a foul is whistled underneath against Otis Grant. When Bob Huggins came here, the program was on probation. They weren't far removed from a 3-win season. And the first 2 years went to the NIT. You sat and watched that second year, the club that went to the NIT. You had your transfer from Akron. And the next year, the team is in the Final Four. It's been to the NCAA tournament every year since. We're only talking about 6 years now. It's not like a North Carolina run, for example, where they've been to some just absolutely unbelievable number of the Sweet 16, like 15 years in a row or something outrageous. That's not exactly it, but it's not far from that.
Yeah. And it's only been 6 years that they've been in the NCAA tournament, but the rankings, the support, just the expectation level, the bar has been raised year after year.
Another bucket underneath by Robinson, who now has 13, and it's a 20-point lead. It was 29 a moment ago. Fortson, nice ball fake, and then hits the jumper from 15.
That's more like Danny Fortson's range right there, 15 foot. When he's that close to the basket, he's usually 60–70% shooter.
Nearly a takeaway by Levett. For this game, bodies getting up and down the floor here tonight.
Well, if you're just tuning in, you'd think this game was pretty close because both teams still playing pretty hard.
Robinson beats Fortson to the basket. Little fadeaway, didn't get it to go. Good rebound inside. Forced back up, may have drawn a foul, but nothing called as Capers went up. And then a whistle against Cincinnati and Danny Fortson. So we'll take a timeout. Bob Huggins has fired aside his sport coat, despite the fact his team leads by 22. Some of the Bearcats students, well, we hope anyway, they're graduates. They still got some college days left in them. Upcoming UC schedule right here on Fox 19. We'll be in Tampa day after tomorrow. Saturday, a nationally televised game at DePaul, right back here on Fox 19 a week from tonight. And that is the final home game of the year against Southern Miss. And then 2 tough road games at Marquette. And the game in Memphis will be the final game for Larry Finch as coach of the Tigers at the Pyramid. You don't think that his team will be jacked for that one, do you?
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a very difficult game for the Bearcats. And Memphis State has always been a tough game for the Bearcats, and it's Larry Finch's last game. Well, they'll be playing out of their minds.
Charles Williams will save and throw ahead to Flint. Pitches outside to Levett for 3. Can't get it in a row. Tips it in.
Bearcats continue to own the offensive boards.
His team trailing 71-47, and still 10:45 left to go. Bearcats have a shot at 100 points tonight.
In their last game, they scored 100 points, 103, I believe, in the last game against Houston.
You got a good memory. 75. You were about, and the shot clock would have expired anyway. 1975, you were all about
7 years old.
15 or 16.
I think it's about time we see some man-to-man. Well, we do see a man-to-man from Houston, and if you can get Danny Fortson shooting 3-point shots, he might have a chance.
Cincinnati with the ball. Houston lobbing it in, and there's big Adrian Taylor. Oh, the big fella.
Get on the bus! Big fella shows us the jump hook. Oh, boy, the turnaround hook.
You know, we're kind of having a few laughs tonight, but you stop and think about what that kid could be by the time he's a senior. He's only a freshman.
Yeah, especially if he keeps dropping weight. Dropped 80 pounds.
Right.
And he keeps dropping weight. He's got some nice, solid post moves, and
pretty nice.
Was that a slip?
That may have been.
Well, no one will remember whether it was a slip or not.
Right.
When this game's over.
A pretty jump hook. Nearly another turnover for the Bearcats. They've turned it over 12 times tonight. Fortson challenging Taylor. Oh, they're going to call offensive goaltending on Williams.
Yeah, Williams coming out. He'll come out. That's a mental error right there. Danny Fortson said, okay, big fella, I'm going to go around you.
Oh, boy. That would have gone in.
Oh, yeah, that was going in. No question. Soft touch. That would have dropped right in. And Charles Williams hadn't got a dunk tonight, so he figured he'd go hang on the rim.
Fortson will hit the first. He'll be shooting 2. Danny Fortson in the game, 16 points, 8 rebounds, a couple of assists. Missed the second, but Levett the rebound. Kenyon Martin wants the ball, and he'll get it. And kisses it off the glass.
Kenyon Martin with a nice drop step move and shoots the half jump shot hook.
Martin with 8. Jones spinning and picking up the foul. I don't know who that was on.
Yeah, Martin's going to get that foul right there.
And that's his 5th. Kenyon Martin in his first collegiate start.
Martin with a nice drop step move here, head fake, and just elevates quickly and kisses it off the glass.
Kenyon Martin, 1 shy of equaling his career high of 9. He had 8 tonight. Second time he's done that.
Looked like he was in a little bit of pain over there on the sidelines.
Eight points, 5 rebounds, 3 blocked shots for Kenyon Martin.
Yeah, at Kenyon Martin's pace, I think he'll, by the time he's done here, he'll be very close, if not eclipsing the all-time blocks.
Oh yeah, lane violation against Cincinnati.
See, these are opportunities for the Bearcats to become solid, especially it's a blowout game, but you don't want to get into bad habits, and that's one reason why Coach Huggins he's running players in and out of the game, and he's not going to play you if you don't play hard in this particular situation, because he doesn't want you to get into bad habits.
He's talking to DeJuan Baker probably about that right now. Flint dumps it to Fortson, spins into the lane. Yes, he'll go to the line.
Hey, if you hear the whistle going when Danny's shooting, just grab him. Don't let him get it off. Because when Danny gets it, he's just too strong. He puts a nice little spin move here, and he's just too strong. And once he gets it cocked in the shot mode, it's going in.
And Fortson converts a 3-point play. That would have been back-to-back 3-point plays had Williams not committed offensive goaltending. Oh, nice little pitch right back to Robinson, but he walked. Well, give and go.
It's a great play, yeah, give and go situation, but the wrong guy going.
Going too far.
Never want to get a basketball to a big guy too far away from the basket, because they all of a sudden think that they can handle it.
22nd turnover forced by the Bearcats tonight. 77-49. Cincinnati in front with 8:27 left. Fortson wants it. And then a foul against Knox. And that'll be his, no, they call it against Monroe. Trying to clear out.
Wow. Well, the Bearcats, they're finally seeing that man-to-man offense, and they're just trying to work it inside. And that was a clear out. That was an awfully weak clear out with Monroe. He just pushed Monroe's arm down. Knox did.
Rod with 4 personal fouls, and Knox will go to the line. He has not scored in the game. And he averages 8 points, and you see 6 rebounds a contest. Of course, he's been on the bench a lot tonight in foul trouble.
Looked good on that one right there. Just knocked that one right on in.
Not a bad Houston free throw shooting team, just under 70% on the year. And Knox at 66%. Hit them both. Houston, a lot of talent coming back next season. Because they're losing some good players as well, but the bulk of their scoring in Robinson and Jones along with McBride will all return.
Bearcats breaking the Houston pressure easily just by running the ball, running an up and under play behind the two forwards that are stepping up. And they're able to enter the ball to the middle of the court easily, breaking the pressure.
Ball tipped out of bounds by McBride. And we have an official's timeout. 7:59 left, and the Bearcats lead Houston 77-51. 77-51. Cincinnati gunning for its 20th win of the season. It would mark the 6th consecutive year the Bearcats have reached the 20-win plateau, and that would equal a school record that was set from 57 through 62 of consecutive 20-win seasons.
Well, I guess that's probably one reason why the fans have become spoiled. 20 wins. Back during that time when they won 20, we got two. Excuse me, we got 2 out of what, 5 attempts at winning championships. So
right.
Maybe the faithful here believe that it's time.
Well, time will tell. Flint, a couple of threes already. Long on that try. And it'll go the other way.
David Flint a little flat on his shot now. Needs to get some more arc under his shot.
And he had that the first couple of threes tonight. Looks like he had it looked like he had his legs a little more underneath him.
Yeah, he was going up first before he extended out, and that's what he needs to do.
Robinson walked.
Danny Fordson causing the violation on Galen Robinson.
Well, the Bearcats better get going if they intend on getting to the 100-point mark. They've really slowed down. They had 52 in the first half. Only 25 through 13 minutes here in the second half.
The Houston pressure has bothered the Bearcats.
Baker missed, but Patterson hustles down the rebound. Davis in traffic, the little left-hander.
That's Davis's game. Slash into the basket, create something right at the front of the rim, and he's been very good at doing that when he's been in the game.
Robinson nearly walked again. 79-51.
Very quiet in the gym.
Capers, did he walk before he got fouled? No. Ruben Patterson will be whistled for the personal. And Ruben will sit down in favor of Levett with 3 personal fouls.
Ruben Patterson not happy about the call from the referee. Coach Huggins, they're over there talking about the defensive stance.
Capers missing, Knox a rebound, and the follow will roll down. Anthony Knox's first field goal of the game.
Bearcats giving up rebound, offensive rebound on a free throw situation, and again, bad habits can come back to haunt you in tough games.
Baker thought about triggering the three. Instead pitches to Davis, who trapped.
Coach Huggins still working the referees, even though his team leads by 26 points.
Right. Under 6 minutes, 5:50 to go. Bearcats on Thursday night right here on Fox 19. They'll tee it up with South Florida. And on Saturday at DePaul, and back on 19 a week from tonight. There's an air ball by Jones. You'll hear about it.
I think he told his coach that slipped out his hand.
Yeah, that was a pass, coach. I promise. Didn't you see the guy cutting underneath? Should have been looking for the ball.
That's what you used to say when you shot air balls, right?
I never missed. I'm the only guy that went through 4 years of school and never missed a shot. There's Baker. And no. And that'll be against who?
Danny Ford.
Yep. So they'll walk down to the other end. Houston in the double bonus. See Bob beginning to get a little upset. He and Ruben Patterson had a few things to say a moment ago.
And talking about defensive stance. And Coach Huggins, he firmly believes in, and the whole coaching staff, and even most of his former players will tell you that you play the basketball game from the stance position, offensively and defensively. Whenever you have the basketball, you need to be in the stance to be able to create opportunities for yourself or anyone else on the court. And the same thing goes on the defensive end. You need to be in a stance to be able to defend. That's when you're going to be at your quickest, when you're in the stance.
.74, less than 5 to go. Levett's had a big game, and he adds to it with a three.
Melvin Levett, Danny Fortune competing for high score tonight. Melvin said, I'm going to get my first tonight.
Well, they were tied at 19 before Melvin hit that three. He now has 22 points in the game.
Going back to talking about playing out of a stance, I know that's what Coach Huggins was talking to Patterson about, because I remember one day he said to me that if I couldn't guard anybody, he thought I'd better transfer back out. And he was talking about defensive stance.
Melvin Levett coming over here and saying, I'm a lot like you tonight, Anthony. Give you a big high five. That was nice.
That's high praise.
Very nice. Yeah, now you could.
That's flattering.
You should have repeated the story to Melvin. Well, you're having a good game tonight, but if you have a bad practice tomorrow, Coach Huggins might suggest you look into transfer.
Yeah, he'll offer that up in a minute. His way or the highway.
Well, you know, you two really had, as Flint misses a free throw. And a hack on the arm will send Levett to the line. You two really did have a very unique relationship going back to your days at Akron. And obviously you thought so much of him and the things, or at least the program that he was selling to the players, and you were buying into it, and you followed him down here.
Well, Coach Huggins, the one thing he impressed upon me was he was going to teach me to be a better basketball player, a more complete basketball player. And when I listened to what he had to say and just following what he'd done in college and high school, Coach Huggins could score with the best of them. And he could do everything out there on the court. And all I wanted to do was soak up some of the knowledge that this guy had. And he made me a more complete player. And I was miserable at Akron when he left. And I felt that there was no reason for me to play unless I was playing for him.
It's very high praise. As Levett hits both free throws. 8 of 13 from the field. He has 6 rebounds in the game.
And there he goes.
High flying Melvin Levett. Fans love this kid.
Boy, Melvin, he loves the railing. He loves to go flying out of bounds. Wow, Melvin, he better stay away from those rails. Get hung up there and wow. Right into Miss Huggins' lap.
Melvin Levett, 24 points in a game, a career high. Well, we got to see big old Adrian Taylor one more time, don't we? There's a rejection by Levett, and then a follow is put back in.
Well, Melvin Levett, he's going to complete the stat line. He's got blocks, he's got assists, he's got scores, he's got rebounds, he's doing everything, and probably has a couple of turnovers, steals.
Yeah.
And he's lighting up the scoreboard today.
Well, he's trying to add some more. Off the mark for Levett. Under 4 to go, 84-56, Cincinnati.
Cincinnati pretty small out there right now. Their tallest player is 6'6" or 6'5" is Monroe.
So we have a timeout on the floor. 3:46 left. All Bearcats tonight. Cincinnati Bearcat basketball from the Shoemaker Center on Fox 19. Our producer director, as always, Mr. David Ashbrook.
You know, look at the sparsely dressed dance team and Melvin Levett.
3:46 left, 84-56. And Jones, little spin move, yes sir, into the lane.
Well, Melvin Levett had a chance to pick up a charge right there, but he just decided to back up.
14 in the game for Jones. Davis into the paint, left hand, and a gentle roll. He's got some nice offensive moves, Davis.
Davis is pretty crafty around the basket and very good at creating something right at the front of the rim.
Baker got a hand on the ball pass and the takeaway, and then it's knocked out of bounds by Robinson.
Well, Houston, they'll just throw it all over the place.
I'd like to thank Mark Wagner with us, our statistician. Dale Roden along the sidelines with us here tonight. Dale's already talking about baseball before the game tonight. We got a lot of hoops, so left to go. Burton in and out.
Burton's at his best when the game's on the game's really on the line, and this one is pretty much decided. So
nice little homecoming tonight for McBride. Shaman McBride with 11 points.
He's played pretty well here tonight. Feel proud of himself in front of the hometown fans.
Cincinnati with the ball, and it gives us a chance to bring you up to date as part of our 4-game summary. Cincinnati banging the boards tonight as they normally do. They've only been out rebounded 3 times all year long, and all 3 times were losses. Bench led by Melvin Levett, the big story tonight. Levett with 24 points. Monroe fouled by Robinson.
Nice post position and up strong with it. Coach. See the nice feed from Terrence Davis. Just a strong, aggressive move by Monroe. Earlier, Coach Huggins, he's still talking to Patterson. Now he's talking to DeJuan Baker. He's working the sidelines.
And Levett running there. Boy, he's still playing hard. Then he dribbled it out of bounds.
Fans, they don't mind, though. He plays so hard. He makes so many things happen out there on the court. They won't ride him too hard for that mistake.
Knox stripped by Davis, and then Knox follows it in. Or rather, Bird with a basket.
Darnell Burton getting his hands on those 2 attempts. He's got some very quick hands, similar to Terrence Gibson.
Terrence Gibson. He talked about a solid role player for Cincinnati for 4 years.
And had unbelievable quickness, unbelievable hand speed. Terrence Gibson was great at just getting that hand in there and knocking the ball loose and triggering something.
And a real testament to Davis, because I recall it like it was yesterday when Terrence Davis, his freshman year in practice, was turning the ball over about every other time down the floor. And I mean, he was verbally assaulted on a daily basis by Bob Huggins. He hung in there, got a little better the next year, a little bit. And by the time the middle of his junior year, he was a solid foundation of a couple of great Cincinnati teams.
Exactly.
Very integral part of those teams.
And Terrence Gibson, he learned an awful lot playing for Coach Huggins, and he got better year after year.
And he's such a nice guy. We still see him around town quite a bit. Working for JTM now, I think.
Yes, he is. He's moved on, and he's doing very well for himself.
Roderick Monroe was fouled out of the game with 7 points. Danny Fortson will get another minute 26. Going to take a flurry for the Bearcats to get to the century mark tonight. And in case you're wondering, they have been down that road before. 4 times this season, Bearcats have scored 100 against Rutgers, Eastern Michigan, Southwest Missouri, and Southern Cal.
I find that unbelievable with the offensive power that's on this basketball club. You would think that they would play around that 100-point mark almost every game.
90-63. It'll be win number 20 for the Bearcats in this 96-97 season. They will go to 20-5. They came in ranked 11th in the nation. First time they've been out of the top 10 since December of 1995. Flynn in trouble. Gets it away. And Fortson lost the handle. But the Bearcats in the RPI rankings, number 7. Maybe they're too far down the track to look for a number 1 seed at this point for the NCAA tournament. They should be the number 1 seed when all is said and done for the Conference USA tournament. They have a 2-game lead, but they do have 4 conference games to play. Anything could happen. But a number 2 seed for the NCAA tournament would be a good accomplishment.
Well, you look at it, looking at the Bearcats win their way out here. They've got 5 more games, and then the conference tournament. You're looking at maybe 9 more victories, and the Bearcats will end up being 29-5 going into the tournament. Anything's possible. You never know what could happen with the top teams, the top 4 or 5 teams. Something may happen, and Bearcats could end up with a number 1 seed. You just never know.
You're right about that. I mean, the teams directly in front of them in the rankings all have very difficult games left. A perfect example, 2 of the teams are squaring off tonight in the ACC. Number 6 Duke, number 8 Clemson.
Exactly.
Somebody has to win the game.
Yeah, those teams, they'll beat one another up for the remainder of the season and also the conference tournament. So the Bearcats, if they can just put together a little 10-game winning streak here, you can see them climb right up the ratings in the last couple of weeks of the season, last 2-3 weeks of the season, and head right into the NCAA tournament on fire.
Yeah, they could finish the regular season 25-5, and you play now 3 games in the Conference USA. So 28-5. You're right, Anthony. Who knows? Levett getting 1 of 2. He has 25 big ones for the sophomore out of Cleveland, Ohio. And Flynn with a takeaway. Will glide to the basket, throws it up. Fortson running the floor and follows.
Flynn still playing hard. 30 seconds to go in this game.
Danny Fortson 21 points in the game. Bearcats leading 95-64. And we're under 20 seconds to go. Bearcats want to get to that 100-point mark. Up top, no, Flynn will take it and lay it in. They have 97. And we have an injured Cougar at the other end of the floor. Looks like McBride. Hopefully he's all right. You'd hate to see this kid come home and get hurt.
Yeah, that would be an awful ending to a pretty solid game from the Cincinnati native.
While we have a moment, I'd like to tell you about our Dodge Player of the Game. Do the honors there, Mr. Buford.
Oh, Melvin Levett, 25 points, career high. Shoots 8 of 14 from the field. Also career high field goals made. 8 of 9 from the free throw line. Career highs there also made. 6 rebounds, 2 blocks. Also a career high. Just a career night.
Yes, indeed.
Melvin Levett.
Another takeaway. Flynn will give it up to Davis. Fortson saying, David, why didn't you give it to me? David saying, come on. I got to let Davis get a bucket. So big night for Melvin Levett. Bearcats win at 97-64. Up next at 10 o'clock news. Tomorrow the Cats head for Tampa, a Conference USA matchup with the Bulls of South Florida. That game will come your way on Thursday night. Anthony and I will be there to bring you all the action beginning at 7:30 right here on Fox 19. Once again, our final, UC 97, Houston 64. For Anthony Buford, I'm Tom Brenneman. So long from the shoe.